Hey guys, it's Suna, and I'm back with another Runeterra video. So I've got another deck here for you guys to try out. So this deck is called the Aggro deck, or the Aggro burn deck, and it's a really good deck, and it's currently on meta at the moment. But big disclaimer: if you use this deck, then your opponents aren't going to like you, because this deck essentially ends the game in like a few turns, maybe like 4 or 5 or 6 turns, and you'll be ending the game if you play it right. This deck is one where if the game drags on, you've lost. If the opponent builds up their team and you've just lost. So this is a very aggressive deck, and it allows you to play your games really quickly. So if you're looking to climb the ladder as quickly as you can, and you don't really care about anything else other than climbing the ladder, this is the deck for you. So this is, and one very good point about this deck is it's so cheap to craft. There is, if you can see here, there's no champions in this deck. You don't need any champions, and a lot of the cards inside the deck are ones that you're going to get with the starter, the actual starter decks themselves. You're going to have to craft a few of these cards, but they're mostly common cards. Majority of them are common cards, and they are so cheap. This deck is so cheap to craft, but super powerful. But remember, big disclaimer, if you use this, your opponents aren't going to like you. But without further ado, let's go in and let's analyze this deck out. And let's just go through card by card and see exactly what this deck's for. So like I said, this deck is essentially for just going very aggressive from beginning, from turn 1, and just trying to go for their HP. So you're going to be going through lots and lots of little small followers and attacking them whenever you can, and then using loads and loads of spells, cheap spells, to burn off their Nexus health. And you'll see a lot of these cards, even though they're quite low in mana cost, a lot of them have specific roles in this deck. And most of the time the role is to burn off the mana, burn off the health from the Nexus of the enemy. So first up, we've got Legion Rearguard. So Legion Rearguard is a 1-cost unit. It can't block, so you can't use this person to block, but what you can do is you can just summon this out and you can use it to attack. For a 1-cost mana, 1-cost mana card with free attack, is really good card, just for attacking. Next we've got Legion Saboteur. So Legion Saboteur, another 1-cost card, this time with 2 attack, but every time you attack with Legion Saboteur, you deal 1 to the enemy Nexus. You'll see a key theme in this deck where the key theme is basically attacking the enemy and having cards to reduce their Nexus health. So this is a really good card, this one. Precious Pet is a really good starting hand to have, especially when you have it on turn 1. So Precious Pet has 2 attack, and it's got the Fearsome tag. With the Fearsome tag, this person can't be blocked basically by anyone with 3 or less power. So you need 3 or more power to be able to block this. So to send this out on turn 1, most cards, I don't think there might be 1 or 2, I'm not sure, but I think most cards can't block this. So most of the time when you send this out on first go, you're going to be able to attack with 2 onto their Nexus. Boom Crew is an awesome card. To be honest, I think this Boom Crew is a bit broken actually at the moment. So Boom Crew only costs 2, and every single time you attack, you're going to deal 2 to the enemy Nexus. Every single time you attack with Boom Crew. So with Boom Crew having 4 health, most of the time you're going to be able to attack twice with Boom Crew before he dies off, and so therefore you're going to hit the enemy Nexus by 4 points. And there's 3 of these in your deck, so it adds up. Crimson Disciple, again another 2-cost card. So when this person survives survives damage, then you get to deal 2 to your enemy Nexus. So similar to Boom Crew, but on the kind of like receiving end on this one. Imperial Demolitionist. So every time you play this card, it's going to deal 1 to ally units. You deal 1 to an ally unit, but then you also deal 2 to a enemy Nexus. So you'll see quite a good strategy with this one is that you can use the deal 1 and you can hit it on someone like, say, Legion. This Legion card here. So this Legion card here has Last Breath. So he's got Last Breath. So Last Breath is basically when this card dies, then the effect takes into place. So with this effect, you get to deal 2 to your enemy Nexus. So what you could do is you could do Imperial, summon it out, deal 1 to your Legion here. He'll die, but you'll still get to do 2 to your enemy Nexus, and you also do another 2 to the enemy Nexus. So that's 4. So that's quite a good combo. Mystic Shot, just Mystic Shot, a really good spell for only 2 to deal 2 to anything. So most of the time try and save this to deal 2 to the Nexus, but if you really have to, you can do deal 2 to the enemy followers. Transfusion is a quite good card as well, because it only costs 2, and you have to deal 1 to an ally. So again, you can chain it up with, say, this Legion one here. Again, activating its effect. But what you can do is you can give another ally +2/+2 for that round. So again, you want to put it on someone, maybe Precious Pet at the beginning if you could, because he's got the fearsome tag. You can just go straight for the enemy health, or if you really need to take off some bit tankier units just so they can't block anymore, you can plus up some other smaller units, like maybe Legion Rearguard, just to give him 5 attack. Get Excited is 3 mana cost, so you discard 1 from your hand, and then you get to do 3 to anything, literally anything. So again, try and save this to deal 3 to their Nexus, but if you really need to do 3 to their minions or followers, yeah, feel free to do so. Noxian is a fast spell, so costing 3. You deal 3 to an ally unit, and then you deal 3 to anything else. So basically, kill. The 3 is most likely going to kill most of your units, so you're going to kill an ally to deal 3 to anything. Again, try and save it for their Nexus, but use it on their minions if you need to. Use Cast Salesman. A lot of people are saying use it for the attack, but I tend to use it for the defense. So I tend to summon this out so that I get some more little. They call it caustic cast. So basically, when you summon Salesman out, he will then summon 2 of these out on the same turn. So whenever these die, they deal 1 to each of your Nexus. So it will hurt 1 to your Nexus as well. So there's 2 of these, so it's going to be 2 on the round. But these will eventually die off at the end of the round anyway. So I use it to block, and then I can deal damage to their Nexus. So that's the whole point of this deck. And the last card is Decimate. So this is your 5 cost, the highest cost mana card in your whole entire deck. So this one deals 4 to the enemy Nexus. So for 5 cost you deal 4. You'll find that most of the time once you whittle down the enemy with these cards above, Decimate right at the end will just finish them off. So you'll be dealing the last 4 damage with Decimate. And that's literally the deck. So you'll see that the whole entire strategy revolves around summoning out loads and loads of cheap cost units so that you can be very aggressive, keep attacking, keep using all these different effects to deal 2 to the enemy Nexus. When this survives, deals another 2 to the enemy Nexus. When this one deals 1 to an ally, you get to do 2 to the enemy Nexus. So you can see a lot of this is going to rack up, and these are so cheap to cast out as well. So they're only 1 mana, 2 mana cost cards. Got a lot of spells to help you clear up some boards if you have to. But try and save these to deal off their Nexus health, and then at the end you can probably finish them off with a Decimate. Really good card, really good deck in general, I feel. Again, disclaimer: if you do end up using this deck, you're going to be finishing off your game super quickly. I think I'll use this deck. I used this deck a few times just to test it out, and it definitely works, and it definitely finishes your game quick. So if you really just want to climb the ladder as quickly as possible, this is one of the good decks to use right now, because you'll finish off your games as quickly and so quickly, as efficiently as you can. And so you'll be playing more games. There will be some losses, and there will be some times where the game will drag on, and you might as well just surrender and just quit them and just start a new game, because the amount of time that you have to, if you go past a certain turn, then this deck isn't going to win. If you go past probably turn, I would say turn 6 or 7 or 8, roughly about that 7. I would say about 7 on average, 6 or 7. Then yeah, this deck doesn't work anymore. So you have to finish them off quick. You have to be very aggressive at the beginning. Try and finish them off as soon as possible. Keep your spellcast to deal damage to their Nexus. If you really have to, then deal the damage to their followers, just so that you can ensure you can attack yourself. And that's it. Very simple deck, very cheap deck. Like I said, a lot of common cards in here, so you can use your wildcard common cards to craft these, or you can just craft them with your shards because they're relatively cheap. But no champions. There is no champions in this deck. It's so cheap. It's so effective, to be honest. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this deck. Again, the disclaimer: your enemies, your opponents aren't going to like you when you play this deck, because they don't get to enjoy the game. The game ends so quickly that by the time the game finishes and they've lost all their health, they don't really get to play much. So they're not going to like you. But you're going to like yourself because you're going to be climbing up the ladder really, really quickly. And yeah, it's one of those brain dead decks where you can just chuck out as much as you can, be very aggressive, don't really need to think too much about it, and you end up most of the time winning. So this is a really good, it's on meta at the moment, this deck. You'll see a lot of people playing this deck. So yeah, give this deck a go. I've left the ID for this deck in the description, so give that a look. If you import it, check it out, try it out, see if you like it. It's super cheap to craft as well, so see if you want to change any of the cards in here. So if you feel there is some better cards to actually put in here, other than all the ones here, yeah, feel free, let me know in the comments, see what you did, see what you tweaked up. Again, this deck is taken from Swim's website, so if you haven't seen Swim, he's a streamer and he streams Runeterra, so he does a lot of deck analysis, a lot of gameplay, so check him out. So this is from his website, so I'm going to leave a link of the deck ID again back on the description, so check it out. Alright, so I'm going to end it here. If you guys have any questions and stuff, just put it in the comment section. Like always, subscribe, like and follow. I thank you all for appreciating, and I appreciate all you guys for all the, I guess, all the support that you've given me, so to create all these different videos. So thank you guys. So yeah, until next time, peace out.